Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ. Kamehameha Schools, empowering Hawaiian keiki to explore, discover, and inspire. ABC Stores, a local company helping to transform education and develop Hawaii's workforce through bold learning initiatives like HIKI NŌ.
Next on HIKI NŌ, stories from across our island chain.
For a tumor that large, the chance of survival wasn't that great, so it was a pretty scary time.
Listen to fathers reflect on the journeys of their cancer survivor daughters.
Follow young photographers as they discover the joys of a medium from the past.
See how a CrossFit instructor helps students find their mojo.
Learn how to have a successful job interview.
Find out how a star athlete faces up to his toughest opponent.
See how students honor the memory of a beloved classmate.
Learn how to make a traditional Maori dance implement.
And discover how friendship is sometimes the best medicine.
All on this episode of HIKI NŌ, coming to you from the island of Maui and the students of Ewa School, home of the Tigers.
That's next on the nation's first statewide student news network, HIKI NŌ.
Can do!
Aloha! We are here at Ewa School in Wailuku on the island of Maui. Located in central Maui, below the famous Ewa Needle, our school has an enrollment of over 1,000 students and 50 faculty members. Ewa was founded in 1929 as Wailuku Junior High. It was renamed Ewa School in 1940. Our colors are maroon and white, and our mascot is a tiger. Our first feature takes us to the island of Oahu, where students at Ewa Makai Middle School tell the story of two young cancer survivors and their father's reflections on the experience.
Lily Mallory is an 8th grader at Ewa Makai Middle School. At just 3 years old, she was diagnosed with cancer. She had a sarcoma in her leg and adrenocortical carcinoma. Adrenocortical carcinoma is an aggressive cancer originating in the adrenal gland or kidney.
Well, I don't quite remember much since I was 3 years old, but I know that I was crying a lot, and all I could comprehend was that I was feeling sick and it just didn't feel good.
Cancer can be found in any type or place in your body, but the most prevalent ones are breast cancer, lung cancer, skin cancer.
She actually had a pretty large tumor, and for a tumor that large, the chance of survival wasn't that great, so it was a pretty scary time.
Ryan Robison is a teacher at Ewa Makai Middle School. Similar to Lily, his daughter, Emi, was diagnosed with leukemia at just 7 years old.
I was writing. I also make animations, so I made an animation just kind of projecting what I wanted them, for my kids, to watch, and to kind of project that feeling of overcoming the cancer. I designed video games, so I made video games for them. Again, you're destroying all the cancer and projecting that image.
Cancer affects pretty much everyone. 1 in 2 males are affected by cancer and 1 in 3 females are affected by cancer in their lifetime. So for me, it's really important to let people know of all the things that they can do to prevent cancer and to catch it early.
Hopefully she continues to stay cancer-free, but it was definitely a long year of chemotherapy, and she did great and knocked it out of the park.
Lily spent over a year in treatment with up to a week straight in the hospital. Her family was by her side throughout her journey and kept hope alive in times of fear.
I learned that if you really want something, you gotta work hard for it, and even if you have hard things that you're going through, and that life is short and you really have to do what you want before you don't have enough time.
Like most children, Lily is growing up without having to worry about cancer. Through the support of her family, was she able to conquer cancer to its roots. There may be many cancer survivors in the world, but to the Mallory family, Lily's life and journey is 1 in a million. This is Lucas Roberts from Ewa Makai Middle School for HIKI NŌ.
Our next story comes from the Kalihi district of Oahu, where students at Kamehameha School's Kapaa Lama discover the artistic treasures that can be found in an old technology.
In this day and age, our media comes to us at the push of a button or a click of a mouse. Though underneath all this craze, there is still a passion for classic film photography, especially here at Kamehameha schools. To learn more about this method of taking pictures, we have to go into the dark. The dark room is a second home for students in the film photography classes. Here they learn to develop film and process prints in the traditional ways.
I think black and white photography or film photography, it's just so different and unique from digital photography. Like now especially, everyone has digital cameras. Everyone can press a button, take a picture, and edit it and make it the way they want, but not everyone knows how to develop film and use prints and use the darkroom, and I think that's why film photography is really unique and really fun.
You can express a lot in the pictures you take, like your feelings. You can express what's going on in your life, and for me, this is where I release all my worries from the day. This is just kind of like my sanctuary. It's where I love to be all the time.
I see the images coming out every semester. We start very basic with Photo 1 students, just learning how to operate the camera, not worrying too much about the outcome, the quality of the images. And by the end of the semester, I see wonderful work coming out. So I'm always pleased.
It's a long process, and like I said, it takes lots of patience and time, but it's all worth it in the end.
The delay allows you to think of what you want in the end and to make little tweaks along the way. It's a more deliberate process, and it creates, I think, more of a focus on the final image and raises the quality of the images, puts the focus on the craft and the effort. There's been a technological revolution, and it's swept photography along with it. The effect on photography has been wonderful. I mean, I scan my negatives. So we're integrating the new processes in with the old and creating kind of a hybrid workflow that I think works really well with the students.
Beyond technology, the digital world has popularized a new way in capturing ourselves that even these serious photographers cannot resist.
I take a lot of selfies actually to post on, Instagram and Facebook.
A lot of people define selfies in different ways, but I'd say yes. I think they're fun, they're instant.
That's just alien to my frame of reference. I'm sorry, I guess I'm too old. I don't know. I don't do the selfie thing.
With technology changing so fast, we have to remember to slow down our shutter and capture every frame that matters. For HIKI NŌ, I'm Emi Robison, Kamehameha Schools, Kapaa Lama.
HIKI NŌ is now on Instagram. For show updates and a peek behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram at HIKI NŌ Can Do.
We're back at Ewa School in Wailuku on the island of Maui. In between studying and extracurricular activities, one thing that's typically on a middle school student's mind is food. Luckily, for students at Ewa, there is Ka'ohu Store. Conveniently located across the street, Ka'ohu Store is a small shop in Wailuku that offers plate lunches, snacks, and fresh poke. You'll often see Ewa students satisfying their hunger here before and after school.
We'll stay on Maui for our next story as students from Lahaina Intermediate School introduce us to a CrossFit instructor who helps people find their mojo.
It takes practice, right?
This is Janelle Ragusa. She created the Kids Deserve to Thrive CrossFit program.
Imani's going to the mountains.
She was born in Rockford, Illinois. From there, she moved to Bloomington, Illinois to go to Illinois State University. Then finally from there, she moved to Maui where she created the Lahaina CrossFit.
I'm a mom and I want them to have all of the tools to be the best them they can be. People don't really get it, like mindfulness. Like people understand exercising their bodies. They don't really understand exercising their minds.
It's like just a good place to learn and get CrossFit in and stuff. It's like just somewhere to go just to have fun and stuff.
CrossFit is a way that people work out and that uses high intensity, functional movements in a constantly varied manner. Man, if children can learn this as soon as they can think about it, then they won't have to work as hard to retrain their habits and and the way they think, because the way you think leads to your actions, right? So if they are actually observing their actions, or observing their thoughts, then they can choose their actions and not just live by default. So it's easier to create those healthy lifestyle habits if you taught them earlier, right? So I was like, if I can provide a space that's all they get to practice and work on, it's going to set them up for a much easier, healthier lifestyle. Yeah, so it's like a big pull up into a big dip. And it's harder to change habits after 30 years than if you were just grow up learning this stuff. Wait, I want to give you full push. So you just got to get that feeling. I want kids to learn to be authentic. I want them to learn to be themselves, and I want them to know that it's safe to do what they love.
This is Mohammed Jabran from Lahaina Intermediate for HIKI NŌ.
We take you now to Hawaii Island, where students at Hilo High School show us how to ace a job interview.
Are you looking for a job or in need of money? A lot of students will seek a part-time job to earn money for their wants or needs. To get a job, you'll need to go through an interview. Here are 6 tips to ensure a successful interview. Tip 1. Bring the proper documents. Remember to bring your resume and your cover letter. The interviewer will need to know how to contact you after the interview. Tip 2. Clothing. For an interview, you will need to dress appropriately. That means no baggy clothes, nothing suggestive, sweats, shorts, and no ripped clothing. Tip 3. Make a good first impression. Be polite, wait patiently, and only sit when asked. Posture. Sit up straight, don't slouch, and be professional. Tip 5. Language. Watch what you say, don't swear, and use proper English. Finally, tip 6. Be yourself. Be confident, tell them what they need to know. Don't be afraid to flaunt yourself. Now you are ready to face your first interview. This is Mackenzie Koho'one from Hilo High School for HIKI NŌ.
We're back at Ewa School in Wailuku, Maui. The heart of our school is known as J Building. This building was originally built in 1937 as the Wailuku Armory and was renamed the Frank A. Alameda Armory in 1973. The armory once housed the Guards Headquarters, 1st Battalion, 299th Infantry. After extensive renovations in 2003, Ewa School took over the building.
Our next story comes from the Hilo district of Hawaii Island, where students at Waiakea High School reveal why a star football and basketball player finds his toughest opponent off the field and off the court.
Let's go, PJ!
Waiakea High senior Wesley Amuemuia knows the peaks and the valleys of athletic competition. He's a starting guard on the basketball team, and he's the starting running back on the football team. Along with that, he holds a high GPA in his class.
Good morning.
But the bruising hits of opponents is nothing compared to the battle Wes faces with his own body.
Well, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes December of my 6th grade year.
One screen, call the screen, James. Hey, go talk, guys, go talk.
According to USA Today, Wes is just one of 1.25 million youth with type 1 diabetes.
Type 1 diabetes is where your body doesn't produce any insulin. Insulin is a hormone that utilizes sugar to get into blood cells so that you can use the sugar for energy. Insulin's side effect is low blood sugars. So if you take too much insulin, your blood sugars could drop really low, and then that could be instant death, coma. That's the scary one. The low blood sugars are scary.
Around November, I started noticing that I was urinating a lot, as well as thirsty a lot. And well, I told my mom, and we went to urgent care, and they sent us straight to the hospital, and that's where we found out I had type 1 diabetes. I have to take insulin around 6 to 8 times a day, and first I would just take the insulin pen, attach the needle, dial up however much units I need, and inject myself with that. Unfortunately, I will have that for the rest of my life.
I think at first everyone was scared because we didn't know much about type 1 diabetes, and Wesley was the first person in our family to have it. I think that we all kind of came together to learn about it, and we made healthier decisions as a family as a result of the disease too.
There were a lot of scary moments ever since I was diagnosed with diabetes, but I think by far, recently actually, I was up late packing for a trip that I was supposed to go on, and I took insulin and had forgotten to eat because I was so busy. And when I fell asleep, my body went hypoglycemic, and that's just when your sugar becomes really low. Well, my mom was trying to wake me up, but I wasn't responding. So the next thing I woke up to was my father carrying me to his car. Well, I went in the hospital. They gave me a glucagon drip, and that's just dripping sugar into my bloodstream. And definitely that was the scariest moment because I didn't know if I was gonna live or not. Diabetes has made me really interested into becoming an endocrinologist. Basically, that's just specialized doctors for diabetic patients. Well, since I had diabetes, it made me very passionate about trying to help others in my situation.
With the support of his family and friends, it seems Wes has a sweet shot at helping others like him. From Waiakea High School, this is Sean Kojima for HIKI NŌ.
Our next story comes from Hawaii Island, where students at Kea'au High School share fond memories of a beloved classmate who departed far too soon.
The campus of Kea'au High School, which is located 9 miles from Hilo Town, a beautiful campus where students value friendship and carry themselves with pride. Prior to the start of the 2011 school year, tragedy struck, and a beloved son named Maka'ala Lumho left us all too soon in a kayak accident in the waters off of Kapoho.
It's pretty amazing how much people he touched in 16 years of his life. How much people showed up to the funeral, how much people was there for support him and his family.
My best memory with Mako was the weight room, definitely. He was always the first one there, and he's probably not the strongest one in the weight room, but he always worked the hardest, and he always motivated us to work hard and not slack.
Many students gave tribute to Maka'ala in their own ways. Sadie Ahuna plays a song she composed for Maka.
If you'd always make everybody happy. You were always smiling and having a good time.
Senior Kylan Josue memorializes Maka in a portrait she created in art class.
Are you a brown too?
A race called the Maka Mile was recently held to honor the memory of Maka.
Coach Craig, Maka'ala's dad. We're here at the 2011 Maka'ala Mile fundraiser for the cross-country team, and a way for us to reflect on Maka'ala's life. He's a student here at Kea'au High School, and just an all-around great person. So as you can see, everybody's getting ready for the race, and we hope to have a really good time.
Maka's infectious. I know a lot of people you've heard over the year, over this time, say that he could bring a smile upon his face, but it's a really true thing. If you got to know Maka as good as I did, no matter how tough times were at home, tough times are at work, tough times are just around in the community, seeing Maka could bring that smile to your face.
Though Maka's not physically here with us, definitely his memory is being carried on because he was loved so much by everyone, and everyone's trying to do their best to keep their memories alive of him. And for that, I think Maka's probably smiling down on us because no one's forgetting him.
Here at Kea'au High, there are no more tears, for we celebrate the enduring memory of our friend Maka'ala Lumho. This is Rainbow Rice, reporting from Kea'au High School for HIKI NŌ.
We take you now to the Ewa district of Oahu, where students at Ilima Intermediate School show us how to make poi balls. And no, they're not the kinds you eat.
Originating in New Zealand, poi has been part of the Maori culture for hundreds of years. Poi or ball Maori is also known as a taro root. Poi balls have two major parts, the ball and the string. To make your own poi balls, begin by taking 3 sheets of newspaper and crumple them into a tight ball. Then measure a piece of yarn 35 inches long. Use this piece to measure and cut 15 more sections 35 inches long. You can use the same color of yarn or choose 3 different colors for your braid. Tie all 15 pieces together into a knot at one end and divide the yarn into 3 sections of 5 pieces each. Braid the entire length of yarn and tie a knot when you get to the end. Take one end of the braid and gently push it into the center of the paper ball. Then place a plastic bag over the newspaper ball and secure it tightly around the braid with a rubber band. Cut off the excess plastic bag from the ball. Repeat this process to make a second poi ball. It takes a lot of practice to improve your coordination, but eventually you may be able to dance a traditional Maori poi ball dance.
We're back here at Yale School in Wailuku, Maui. Almost everyone in Hawaii has a ghost story to tell, and our school has one too. There have been many stories over the years that a building is haunted, with doors slamming on their own and objects falling unexpectedly. In addition, some people say there is a woman dressed in white who appears in the hallway, and as quickly as you see her, she'll disappear. No one is quite sure who she is, but people swear to have seen her. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, no one has come up with any other explanations for the strange happenings in a building.
Our final story takes us to the island of Kauai, where students at Chiefus Kamakahela Middle School show how, when it comes to mental illness, compassion for the patients can lead to positive change.
Mental illness in the USA is more common than one might think. About 26% of all Americans have some form of a mental illness. Oftentimes, when someone thinks about mental illness, they think of someone who is mentally unstable and may lash out violently.
I wanted to just read one fact. The widely held belief that mental illness leads to increased risk of violent behavior is a damaging stereotype. The vast majority of individuals with psychiatric disabilities do not commit violent acts.
Fortunately, for people with mental illness, there's a place where positive change can happen.
Friendship House is a clubhouse for people with mental illness to come to get help with their lives, whether it's making friends, going back to work, finding a place to live. Friendship House does all those things for people who from all walks of life here on Kauai.
Basically, you know, the Friendship House, the clubhouse model is a place where members come, and we don't call our guys patients, we call them members. So it's not the doctor-patient relationship, we're colleagues, and that's very empowering.
Friendship House is one of over 350 clubhouse programs in 33 different countries. So we're making a world of difference all around the world.
The Friendship House is a global effort to try and get members back into their normal routines.
It's our job to help make sure that they get the opportunities that anybody else in life has, whether they want to go to school or go to work or any other opportunity to enhance their well-being in their life.
They set me up with various employers around the island which I need to get in contact with.
But as a result of this close work, the staff's lives are also largely changed.
I remember having to do a presentation in front of Kauai United Way, and you know, Laura could tell I was really, really nervous, and she pulled me on the side and she goes, "Okay, Iris, just breathe," you know. So she got me through that. So it's a pretty much give and take relationship here.
Because of this type of interaction, members form an unexpected yet life-changing bond with the staff.
I called HMSA and they asked Iris who she was, and she says, "I am a friend." They didn't think of her as a case manager, but they knew I had a friend in my corner. Well, actually, I think she's an angel sometimes, you know.
Here at Friendship House, it's really about the relationships that members and staff tend to form.
Although the main goal of the Friendship House is to help its members get back into society, the bonds between the members and staff have made a world of difference in each other's lives. From Chief's Kamakahela Middle School, this has been Brandon Marcos for HIKI NŌ.
Well, we've come to the end of this episode of HIKI NŌ.
Remember, all of these stories were written, shot, and edited by students like us.
We hope you enjoyed watching this as much as we enjoy sharing this with you.
Tune in next week for more proof that Hawaii's young people HIKI NŌ.
Can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ. Kamehameha Schools, empowering Hawaiian keiki to explore, discover, and inspire. ABC Stores, a local company helping to transform education and develop Hawaii's workforce through bold learning initiatives like HIKI NŌ.